You think you are pausing for clarity, but you are pausing for control. You are in a meeting and you state your position, then you stop and look at the other person without filling the gap. The observable behavior is a deliberate silence after a claim. The effect is that the other person feels a time pressure to respond, and pressure makes people reveal more than they planned. In practice, this means the person who tolerates the gap sets the tempo and forces the other person to spend words to relieve discomfort. You recognize it when someone answers your statement with extra justifications you did not ask for. Silence makes weak arguments leak. You ask a simple question at the counter, and the staff member pauses before answering while keeping their face neutral. The observable behavior is a short delay before giving a yes or no. The effect is that you start doubting your request and adjusting it downward before they even speak. This shows up when you soften your language, add politeness, or offer an alternative you did not intend to offer. You recognize it when someone lets the pause do the rejecting, then speaks as if they are being reasonable. You negotiate against yourself. You are challenged in a disagreement, and instead of reacting, you hold still and let their last sentence hang in the air. The observable behavior is non-reaction silence after provocation. The effect is that the attacker loses momentum because they do not get the emotional feedback that would confirm dominance. This is done by refusing to reward the attempt with speed, which makes their push look needy and yours look stable. You recognize it when the other person starts repeating themselves, raising their volume, or adding sharper words to force movement. They start chasing your response. You are in a negotiation and the other person names a number, then goes quiet like the conversation is finished. The observable behavior is a closing pause after an offer. The effect is that your brain treats the silence as a deadline, and deadlines produce concessions just to end tension. In practice, this means the first person to break the quiet usually pays for it with extra terms, explanations, or counter offers that weaken their position. You recognize it when someone leans back, stops talking, and watches your face like you owe the next move. The room waits on you. You make a request by message, and they read it, then leave you on scene with no reply for hours. The observable behavior is delayed response silence as a status signal. The effect is that you feel lower priority, and you start trying to earn attention by sending follow-ups that reduce your leverage. This shows up when you send a second message that is shorter, softer, or framed like you are the one causing inconvenience. You recognize it when the eventual reply ignores your original framing and answers as if they were granting access rather than cooperating. Time becomes their weapon. You are telling a story and the other person pauses at key points, not because they are confused, but because they are measuring you. The observable behavior is strategic micropauses during listening. The effect is that you speed up, over-clarify, and give away unnecessary detail to prevent being judged as vague or incompetent. This is done by letting you feel watched without giving you confirmation, which triggers performance mode and self-exposure. You recognize it when you start naming dates, names, and reasons that were not requested just to close the uncomfortable gap. You start proving yourself unasked. You present an idea, and they pause, then respond with a single short phrase instead of a full answer. The observable behavior is minimal speech after a long pause. The effect is that your idea feels smaller because the pause inflated the importance of their evaluation, and the short reply signals your idea did not earn effort. In practice, this means they control perceived value by making you wait and then giving you less than you expected. You recognize it when someone says, "Fine, maybe," or "We will see after a pause," and you immediately feel the urge to improve your pitch on the spot. You hand them the frame. You ask someone directly if they agree, and they pause while maintaining eye contact, then answer slowly. The observable behavior is silent eye contact before commitment. The effect is that you feel you are being assessed. An assessment makes people hedge, retract, or qualify what they just said. This shows up when you start adding conditions, exceptions, or softer language to protect yourself from rejection. You recognize it when the other person uses the pause to make you back away, then accepts what is left as if it was your original position. You retreat in real time. You receive a criticism and you pause before replying, then you ask one calm, clarifying question and stop again. The observable behavior is pause, question, pause sequencing. The effect is that the critic loses certainty because the silence forces them to hear their own claim without your emotional participation. This is done by making them carry the weight of their statement while you remain composed, which shifts perceived authority toward you. You recognize it when they start adding softer words, changing their claim, or turning it into a general comment instead of a direct accusation. Their certainty collapses quietly. You end a conversation with someone by stopping mid-flow, not with a summary, not with a goodbye, just a clean silence. The observable behavior is an abrupt pause that denies closure. The effect is that the other person keeps thinking about what they should have said, and unresolved gaps pull attention, like unfinished tasks. In practice, this means the last person who withholds closure keeps psychological ownership of the interaction after it ends. You recognize it when someone tries to reopen the topic later, send a follow-up, or fish for your final view just to settle the tension. You never give them the ending.